Hey, it's Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
And welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
sex.
And today, what we're talking about is anti-slut defense. Is it real? And how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to spell it ANTI-SLUT, anti-slut, because I slur my words sometimes. You know what I mean? And I'm like, because I've heard myself on the podcast, I'm like, what am I saying? Anti-slut defense.
I'm a slut maker.
Defense. And a lot of times, and what I've realized by using Twitter, and when I put this out on Twitter, or use it in any phrase, the normal people don't know what it is.
Which shocks me. I don't understand. Because
from elementary school, there's like, I'm not that kind of girl.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're literally trained as women, as girls, as females, to protect the image of our sexuality.
If you're not protecting the sexuality itself, at least the image or the perception is more important than the reality quite often.
Right. Yeah, protecting the image of your sexuality envelops
everything.
Not behaving in ways that would tarnish that image.
Yeah. And girls use that against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the first. I mean, when we say
Old,
the slurs,
ugly, and slutty.
Yeah, the big three. And even in our little world of game and red pill and the I guess the manosphere, for lack of a better word. There's like subsets. Is you get pushback, you get doubt, and you hear guys going, "It's not really real." And you're like, really? I mean, you should know more than the average guy.
Well, like you've even said, if you don't think it's real, look back at your life, at your interactions with even not sexual relations. I just lost my word. Relationships, but even your sisters or your mom. Watch how any of the girls in your sphere along the course of your lifetime have responded to different things or reacted
badly.
And you see how this stuff works.
Well, and so what it started was, I mentioned in basic training, before you bang, it's best to keep sex talk covert, flirting, innuendo, acting as if she's the aggressor. With overt, before you bang, you can accidentally trigger her anti-slut defenses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Girls will shut down. That's like, we know you don't want to be too blatant before you guys actually fuck. Then the rules change.
Yeah, even guys who are able to get new girls that they haven't actually fucked yet, get them to have essentially phone sex or FaceTime.
Kicks
kind
it
of
off.
She'll go along with it that first night of when she's really horny and in the mood and she's getting you going and you're hot and you're excited and you guys are kind of verbally sparring, for lack of a better way to say it, in a sexual way. The next day, she'll be gone.
Exactly.
Almost like clockwork.
We've had clients that run into this. And the same thing is with, if they send you nude pictures, they're most likely going to flake.
Yeah.
Because there's so much pressure then.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be seen as easy. It's a strange dichotomy.
Yeah, it is.
But when I put that tweet out, a guy jumped in and said, anti-what? Never heard of it. At some point, when you talk about it, if you don't mind, and another guy that tends to seem to know what he's talking about in this realm said, because it's made up terminology used for a very small group of women and isn't indicative to all women. One of the flaws of red pill bullshit is it's not even a science. Personal experience cannot be used as research.
But that's absolutely false. It's literally indicative of all women, because no woman, 99.99% of women, do not want to be labeled or viewed as a slut. You could ask a prostitute if she's a slut, and 99.99% of them don't think so, because it's a business.
The classic video is Jesse Parsons going to the slut walk.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you a slut? And they're like, no. I'm just here to support my friends. Or I'm a slut. You're a slut. Everybody's a slut. But no girl would simply say, yes, I'm a complete slut and I will sleep with any man that comes along.
Right.
None would, and they had actually gotten up that morning,
Yeah.
gotten dressed, did their makeup, did their hair.
Written slut on their faces.
Yeah. And
It's
made a
so
sign
bizarre.
that says, I'm a slut. But point blank, when she was asked, and this is hundreds of girls.
Yeah, many.
Yeah. No.
No.
Not me. And
I have a boyfriend.
exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of that. There's like very quick, no, I'm here just to support a friend. I've got a boyfriend and I love him. And
I love him
alone.
very much. We're very happy.
Very.
It's like, okay.
I know.
Does he know?
But it's hardwired into girls.
Yeah.
And it's behavioral, and it's when we talk about like evolutionary psychology, because certainty of paternity is such a huge thing.
Huge.
So protecting the certainty of paternity, so the guy knows that the children are his, is a huge, because it jeopardizes the lives of the children and it jeopardizes her life.
Yeah.
So it's hardwired. Girls can't help but get older. They lose their looks at a certain point, but they can control being seen as a slut. It's one thing that they have control over.
Yeah.
And it,
we don't have control over much, but that's one of them.
And I think I think for outsiders or normal people, average Joes, and it's Joes and women, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Whenever this leaks out into the normal world, they should, like Bunny says, they should know this is a normal part, because no girl wants to be. But there's defenses. They bring up defenses about it. They hide men. I mean, you'll never know how many men they're actually seeing when you meet them.
Yeah.
Girls are conditioned to never mention other men, not even their father.
Including their fathers or brothers.
Exactly, around other men. You'll never know. I mean, you can ask, but they'll deny it. It's just like body count.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you 3. If it's not 0, it's 3.
Yeah.
If they're high school boyfriend.
And it's always been 2 years.
Yeah. And they've always been celibate for 2 years.
Yeah.
It always throws me out. Every once in a while, you'll see a guy, yeah, she told me she hasn't had sex in 3 years. I go, well, that's off of the average, but that's a normal lie. So you'll never know. And,
3 years, and yet she slept with you on the first day.
Exactly, because you're so irresistible. So the anti-slut defense let's give a couple of examples of where, that's the first one I always think is when you start talking to a girl, if she's attractive, she's sleeping with somebody. She's got a fuck buddy, she's got a friend with benefits, someone in the background.
She's still banging her ex-husband.
She's single though.
Yeah.
A girl that's single for 3 years and she's moderately attractive, or even plain. Well, that's what we've learned.
I was going to say,
even plain girls, they're sleeping with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your first example of the anti-slut defense. They're protecting that reputation.
Yeah.
Where else would you see it in day to day, like very common?
Well, I think one really common thing that I see at least a lot of is mothers who have preteen and teenage daughters, and it's very much, you're not going to wear that. You're not,
That is a big deal.
You're not going to go out of this house in that outfit. You can see everything.
Yeah.
It's because they know that perception is reality. Whether it's true that she's a slut, but if she enjoys dressing in a slutty fashion, number one, everyone will assume she's one. And number two, reality generally follows things like that. Because if people are going to be looked at that way, they tend to follow suit.
And there's that classic story that I told you about the military academy murders. You remember that, where back in the late 80s, early 90s here in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Uh-huh. Oh, my daughter's not a runaround. Yeah.
Long story short, the girl was going to the Naval Academy or Air Force. He was at West Point. But the year before, they had met each other as seniors and started dating. Well, he had been cheating on this academy girl with another girl, with a little blonde-headed girl that's local, who kind of had a reputation for sleeping around. Just, she liked boys.
Yeah.
She liked boys, nothing crazy. And so they both went away to the academy. And then when they came back at Christmas, the girl kind of put him on the spot and said, you know, you're going to have to kill this girl, you know. And he's like, okay.
Pussy is
And
a powerful drug.
it's really crazy. She was so insanely jealous, she wanted this girl dead and convinced the boy to do it. They lure her out. The girl puts on his jacket or his shirt. She climbs out the window and went up to go meet up with the guy. And, I think between the two of them, they murdered her, and it was an ugly scene. So all this is going on. They haven't discovered who's done it, but the mom is on TV, and I'll never forget. She's like, I just wanted to make it clear that my daughter was not a runaround.
Right. That was her utmost importance, her primary concern.
Was that her daughter wasn't remembered as a slut.
Yeah.
And you're thinking of all the things that woman could be worried about or concerned with. That was first and foremost. So it's so hardwired.
Yeah, it really is.
And that it's there. It's always there. It's a major thing.
Yeah.
And it's universal.
Absolutely.
Every girl has this. It's not a small select group of girls, and it's very real, and it happens constantly. It's in the hardware.
Well, and we're American, but in other cultures where they cover the women up more, it is for this same purpose.
Yeah, it's to control the sexuality, which is, right or wrong. It depends, because quite often, even like nowadays, when I do a consult, the first thing I have to ask is, where are you?
Yeah.
Because a lot of cultures, I can't help them because it's so foreign. It's so different,
Yeah.
We very much know American culture and a little bit of European.
Yeah.
But most of them are a lot different.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so anti-slut defense, it's hardwired into girls. It exists. It exists for a reason. Mm-hmm. And you'll come up against, and you're not going to see a lot of you're not going to see Cosmopolitan magazine writing about it. You're not going to read about it in New York Times.
No, exactly.
It's not a subject that's highly, if you see it in anything, it'll be like in Psychology Today, and it'll be about, promiscuity.
Yeah.
It'll be couched in that. We just use different language ourselves.
Right, exactly. But it's a very real thing for 99.99% of women, and that other 0.01% of women that are okay with being a slut.
Probably a little brain damaged.
Yeah, there's some damage there.
Yeah. Because it's a basic preservation. It's a life preservation
absolutely.
Thing. So that is the bottom line on the anti-slut defense, and hopefully that clears the air.
Yeah.
And explains kind of like where it's at and what it is and how you deal with it.
It's a very real thing, and we just want you to be well informed. So not only you can better deal with women, but you can better understand the reason it works, because then it makes it second nature to you, and then you get to be a guy who just gets it.
That's what girls want, is a guy that just gets it.
If you like this, please like, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends. We want you to win. Bye!